Hello everybody, Incon here. So guys, I want to try out doing something, and you guys are going to have to tell me whether or not this is something you're interested in. You know, the first question is probably going to be Incon. We had the patch notes video yesterday. I watched it. I know exactly what happened. Why are you doing this video? So, for the most part, there's always been a pretty distinguished group of people that like watching the initial patch notes. They want to see the Hindu and the Pon talking a little bit, and they want to see the interactions and everything live and that kind of stuff. And that's more so like reactions, my initial like, why would they do this? You know, I'd say it's a little bit sillier, a little bit more fun to watch. But there's also a lot of people that just want like the analytics of like, how does this affect my game? How is this going to affect pro play? Does this mean I should be picking up this item? I've got these people that want this more like relaxed, down to earth, maybe less like exciting video, but more informative. So I think what I'm going to try to do, guys, on patch notes from now on is I'm going to try to have that initial video on the day of the patch where it's just like, hey, here's the patch notes and me watching them, and, you know, we'll see if anything crazy happens. And then I think the day after, I want to be releasing just, you know, a shorter, more concise, more strictly about the patch itself and meta effects and stuff like that. If you're interested in one of the other videos, you can just watch one of the other. I just know that there is a distinct group of people that don't really care to watch, you know, me talk over Hindu Man. They would rather just, you know, hear somebody talk about the changes. So here we are, and that's what I'm going to do. So we've got a bunch of skins. For the most part, you've probably seen the skins. Basically, you've got Defiant Bologna. You've got the new Vulcan skin, new Hell skin, Ares skin. After that, you're just looking at masteries. You got Vulcan mastery, Hell mastery, Discordia mastery. This Defiant skin is absolutely amazing. The voice pack blows. It is bad. It is really, really bad. But the skin is amazing. The Vulcan skin's pretty good. The meatball sound effect is on flippin' point, and the voice pack is basically exactly like Kukulkan. Hell skin itself is okay. Animations are super sweet. Voice pack is fine. And the best skin of this patch by far is this Ares skin. Skin's amazing. Card art is amazing. Voice pack is pretty cool. It's a little bit like RP, nerdy, kind of over the top, but it's pretty fun. And the animations are disgustingly good. Fun fact, this shield, you can't tell just from this picture, but in-game, the bottom of this shield is not like hard in stone like you would see a shield. It's literally like a fleshy, flopping tentacle. It's so gross. It's so cool. All of the spell effects for this Ares skin are tentacles. So, you know, if you're into that kind of thing, you know, you can do that kind of, you know, special stream for yourself. Down below, obviously, these are all Odyssey style things, which I should mention, next patch is the Woojer tier 5 skin. So if you are trying to buy all the Odyssey stuff to get the Woojer tier 5, the next patch is when the Woojer tier 5 is coming out. Updated FX for Vulcan ult. Basically, if you ever panicked because you saw a Vulcan ult and you used an active and then you were like, ah, damn, that was my own Vulcan. Probably doesn't happen that often, but maybe it happened like once or twice. You don't want to admit it. They're going to try to clear up the FX. So it's a little bit clearer so you don't do that on accident. Into the actual balance. The balance changes this week are pretty minor. Some of them a little bit more important than others. But for the most part, guys, you're not going to see a lot of changes until Worlds. Nobody wants to change the meta too crazy going into Worlds, so you're going to see a lot of like 5 to 10 power / percents or whatever style changes compared to like huge flops. And that's because they don't want to screw over the Worlds meta, you know, a month beforehand. They want the players to basically have all this time to go practice the meta and get used to it so they can have the best possible games at Worlds. And then I'm sure the patch that's like really close to Worlds or right after Worlds, you know, one of your last Season 4 patches will probably be a pretty massive patch, and then you'll get Season 5 is usually what you're looking for. So, First change, Jade Emperor's Crown. Right off the bat, I'm going to say I hate this change. I think it's stupid. They reduced the physical protections from 60 to 50. We've heard people complaining about the tank meta. It's true. I complain about the tank meta. The problem with the tank meta is not supports. It's never been supports. Nobody's complaining about supports right now. I'm not just saying that because I'm a support main. I play every role in ranked. Jade Emperor's Crown was not a problem. It's nerfing tanks, but the only tank class that picks up Jade Emperor's Crown is your support. And the supports are not the one that are doing this like hybrid build that kills you. That's the problem. Will you still need to pick this up? Yes, Jade Emperor's Crown is still an amazing item. 50 protections, all the HP and the passive. Everything's great about it. I don't think it needed the 10 physical protection ever. I think that was stupid. Next up, we got Gladiator Shield. They reduced the physical protection from 35 to 30. I appreciate that Hydras acknowledges that Gladiator Shield is an issue. The problem is I don't think they know how to fix the item without touching the passive. And if they touch the passive and make the passive worse, then you kill the item. But if you don't touch the passive, then the item's still OP. It's just unless they give it a whole new passive, the item's always going to be strong. 5 physical protection reduction, I don't think changes it at all. If you're playing Wukong, if you're playing even flipping Hercules, it doesn't matter. Anybody where you're going to be spamming abilities, Gladiator Shield is always going to be a good item for you. Ratatasker picks it up, right? That tank hybrid Ratatasker build. Any gods that were picking up Gladiator Shield beforehand, still pick it up. Absolutely no changes for you. You just lose 5 physical protections. It doesn't change the fact that the passive on Gladiator Shield is one of the best, like, passives per money spent on an item in Smite for how cheap Gladiator Shield is. Another item that they definitely want to touch, but they can't before World is Executioner. They're going to be reducing 5 power on Executioner. They recently nerfed Titan's Bane by taking off 3% penetration. So this is kind of like their we should also hit Hunters 2 thing by reducing 5 power. Executioner is still one of the best items, bang for your buck as a hunter. It's the best pen item basically in the game. I think Duke Sloth recently did something that showed like how crazy effective Executioner is over like other items as you keep auto attacking more and more. You're still gonna buy it all the time, guys. No real change there. DeVos Glove, once again another item that they're like, hey, this item's been picked up every game. Basically every hunter has no choice but to grab it. But we don't want to do anything too crazy to the hunter builds before Worlds. Let's just increase it by 100 gold. That way everybody's still building it, but at least it nerfs hunters a little bit. It's kind of the same thing with Executioner. Yeah, they're all going to pick up Executioner still, but they got 5 less damage. These are all just like these little taps of like, yeah, we can hit you with this little tiny jab because we know that it will do something without blowing up the build to the meta or anything. Obviously, it's not a lot, but it's just like these little pokes that are like, this will do a little, this will do a little, this will do a little. One of the biggest changes of the patch is, I don't even know if they meant to do this big, but Hydras Lament is getting buffed. They're increasing the bonus attack damage that you get from 30 to 40%. So you use an ability, your next auto attack will now do plus 40% basic attack damage instead of 30. It's a pretty big change when you consider that gods that pick up Hydras Lament, right, are picking it up because they can proc it like 3 times. They have like 3 abilities, right, that will proc Hydras. That means it's a 30% increase, right? So you're getting 10% bonus on 3 abilities. You're getting a 30% bonus damage from Hydras over the course of the whole thing. So while beforehand your 3 abilities would have done 90% bonus attack damage, now you're doing 120% bonus attack damage. Pretty nice. And is a really big change for gods. People like Dodgy are freaking loving this change, right? Dash in with your 3, auto, 1 for the instant auto, and then you can use your 2 and auto after that if you want to. But even with those just first 2 ones, that's an extra 20% damage. Pretty much instant burst, right? Because of like the Dodgy mechanics. So stuff like that's going to make a big deal. Combined with this, actually, I think it's pretty beneficial. They're reducing the cost of Jotun's Wrath. This Hydras Lament Jotun's Wrath change is because They basically feel like assassins are in a bad spot, and to be fair, they are. It's the kind of this tank meta. Assassins are not thriving, so they're buffing Jotun's Wrath by reducing the gold by 100. I think that this Jotun's Wrath Hydras Lament combo on assassins is going to be really strong. Gods that can make both these items work, like a Daji, people that want the cooldown, and then you can abuse that bonus damage you get on Hydras, plus you have 30% CDR. I think it might help assassins maybe snowball past their tankier counterparts. So I would start testing out some builds with this this patch. Boots into Jotuns into Hydras, or even Hydras into Jotuns, depending on the god you're on, honestly. Next up, we got some god balances. So this Awilix one is going to be kind of weird. It's not really a nerf. It's not really a buff. It's more like a bug fix. So most people didn't know that Awilix had this weird issue, and it was very frustrating, and you probably experienced it playing Awilix at some point and didn't know why it happened. You probably just said, stupid smite's so buggy. You'd be right, it was a bug. So your Moonlight Charge, your 3 on Awilix, which is you throw out your kitty, right, your cougar, and it knocks somebody up. Well, that could actually go 73 on the range indicator, even though it only say it would go 65. And that was because it actually went to the end of the actual animation. And so you got the entire length of the kitty on top of your max range. Like, it went all the way to the end, and it was approximately 8 long or 9 long, whatever, 8. So they're actually reducing the range of that, but they're increasing the range that it says on the tooltip. So it was supposed to be 65. It was actually 73, and now they're making it 70. So in actuality, they're reducing the range by 3. On the flip side, your Gravity Surge, which is your ultimate pull, would pull from a range of 70, which means that previously you could actually hit a Moonlight Charge, use your ulti, and not be in range of your ulti. Now they are super making room for that by saying that, okay, now it's actually 70, and we're increasing the ulti pull range to 75. So yes, it'll slightly help you if somebody on your team knocks somebody up. You can pull them a little bit farther. But it's mostly to fix this interaction with the Awilix's Moonlight Charge, which is now that you can never hit somebody with your 3 and then not be able to pull them. Camazotz going to get a small buff, which is good for Camazotz because Camazotz was not in a great spot. Small buff. They're basically increasing your Screech, your 1 ability. When you throw it out and hit somebody, you bounce echoes off the wall. If you catch your echo now, you're going to get an extra bonus 10 power at all ranks. I think the biggest impact of this is going to be level 1. Your Screech at level 1 now gives you 20 power instead of 10. So at level 2, your fight on Camazotz, you land your slow with your 2, you hit him with the 1, you catch your bonus physical damage, and then you have that extra 20 power on your autos to try to rail on him and win that early game fight. Will it bring Camazotz back into the meta? Probably not, honestly, but it's a nice little tap to give him. Daji, I feel like some people are going to be really happy with this change, and some people are going to be really upset. Daji, only thing that's getting reduced is her Strife, 10% scaling, that's it. They basically said Discordia's win ratio is okay. They said it's better than normal, but not like super broken, so they're not really touching it that much. Personally, I think Discordia, I think the people that are really mad about Discordia are probably also really mad about Hebo, which is understandable. I think that if you're a more casual player, Discordia, Hebo, those kind of gods are going to be super problematic for you. And it's just because their damage output is insane. But in a competitive setting, I don't think Discordia is going to be that good, just like Hebo isn't that good. Because I think you just focus them, you just kill them down. They don't have the getaway skills, which is so important as a mid laner in competitive play. Fafnir getting a nerf. I know Fafnir gets nerfed all the time, but to be honest, he is also the best support in the game, at least from my viewpoint, from scrims, from ranked, all that kind of stuff. Fafnir's just super strong. So they're reducing his Coerce, 1 second increase on the cooldown, and then the bigger change is the attack speed buff is now going to go from 10 to 50% previously. Now it's 15 to 35. So you're getting a buff at rank 1 of 5%, but then every other rank starts to go down like a progressive 5% more, basically. So you're 15% down at the end. It's a needed nerf. 50% bonus attack speed, especially when you're in your dragon form and you hit your whole freaking team with it. It was just too strong. 35% for your whole team is still going to be amazing. It'll still be great single target for ADC. I think this will put Fafnir in a bit of a better spot. I mean, he's still got a stun, a disarm, a stun, an immunity frame, and 2 attack speed buffs, plus his passive. Like, he's still so strong. He'll still be top 3 no matter what, I'm pretty sure. But that should put him in a better spot. Another super tiny change, but nice. Kukulkan getting +5 movement speed. Not much to it. He will slither just a little bit faster. He doesn't have a getaway skill, which is basically why they did this. Medusa getting a pretty decent change for you Medusa players out there. Viper Shot damage is increased by 5 at all ranks. Viper Shot shoots 3 times, obviously. So Viper Shot damage is increased by 15 at all ranks total. They didn't touch the scaling or anything, so I think the most impact on this is going to be in the earlier stages of the game. Early game boxing, you now have 15 bonus damage. Pretty nice. Raw probably getting the biggest... Raw and Susanoo getting pretty decent individual god changes. But Divine Light on Raw, they're buffing Raw. Biggest buff, I'd say, probably of the god changes. The base damage increases on his Divine Light from 60 to 220 to 70 to 270, so 50 damage at the end of the game. The magical power scaling, which is, let's be real, more important, is increased by 15%, so 50 damage flat at the end of the game plus 15%. That's like another, let's say, easily you have 500 power, so that's another 100, no, 10%, 50, 75, that's like 125 damage bonus or something. For Divine Light, and they reduce the mana cost. All of those things are good for Raw. Raw's just kind of struggling right now. Honestly, it's a good change for him, but I don't know if it's... he won't be better than Janice. He won't be better than Raijin. He won't be better than people that can really play Morrigan. So, yeah, it's a good change for him, but I don't think it's going to matter against some of the more standard mid laners right now. Susan getting a pretty decent buff. Increasing the damage on his Wind Siphon. I think Susanoo's already going to benefit from the Hydras change. I think he's going to really like the Hydras change. I don't think he particularly minds the Jotun's change either. I think those are both beneficial for him. Plus, his Wind Siphon went from 60 to 120 base to 80 to 180 base. So 20 increase at the start all the way up to 60 increase at the end of the game. Nice change for him, but honestly, I think the bigger change for him is the Hydras. You know, use your 1, hit Hydras, pull people, Hydras, 3, teleport in on people, Hydras, knock them up, Hydras. Really easily has 40% scaling bonus now for Susanoo, for the Hydras, if you really can play Susanoo correctly. So I think that's going to be the bigger change for him. On the whole, I think you're going to see more Susanoos with these changes. I don't think you're going to see more Ra, no more Kukulkan. I don't think you're going to see any less Fafnir. I think you might see more assassins, particularly ones that thrive with Hydras. ADC builds aren't going to change at all. Warrior Guardian builds aren't going to change at all. That's basically what you're looking at for this patch. Smaller patch, guys. This is kind of what I'm looking to do now for these patches, is break these up into 2-day ordeals. First day, fun stuff, just watching it. Second day, more boring, but more analytical, you know, the impact of said changes, you know, and just, you know, and these might end up being pretty long videos. I mean, this is like, what, 19 minutes or something? But for bigger patches, these could actually end up being longer videos than just watching the patch notes if we really start to get in depth into the numbers and the impact on competitive play as we get into things like Season 5 patches. But thank you guys for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I didn't bore you to death with numbers, and as always, have a twitching day, y'all. Thanks everybody for watching the video. If you want to watch more content, go ahead and click yourself down in the corner to watch another one of our videos. If you'd like to subscribe to the channel, you can find that right up on there. And if you want to go ahead and buy some sweet merchandise, guys, you can click that right above my head. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, have a twitching day, y'all.